What's up, everybody? Welcome to the We Are One podcast. It is Justin, per usual, and today I'm in a dope vibe. We got this red setting going on. It really matches the chill vibe of my guest today. What's good, Denimani?
What's up? How you feeling?
Welcome to the show.
Yo, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here at my home, but with you here.
Oh yeah. This is like my third time pulling up to your crib probably, and I always like your crib. I like it. It's just a nice vibe. It's a good setting. Totally. I think you bring a lot of that to it though. Like you being in the crib is what makes it a nice spot to be at.
Word. I appreciate that, man. That just means I got good energy.
Good aura.
It's dope.
I think you got the dopest name out of anybody that's on the show so far.
Yeah.
Denimani.
Yeah, man. My parents are creative.
Yeah.
That's to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a blessing. It's funny because like growing up, I did not like the name. Like that's where Denny came from, right? Like a lot of my closest friends know me as Denny because I was just going by Denny. I didn't fuck with Denimani, but I know I grew up and I'm like, yo, like that shit was actually
it's actually fire, you know? That sounds like some like an R&B nigga like pick the name, like his artist name, he'd be like Denimani, you know, but not like, bro, that's your name.
I'm dead, R&B.
But walk me through the origin of your name, I guess, the origin of you. Who is Denimani?
Oh, okay, word. Well, Denimani is yeah, I don't know. So Denimani actually, you got me talking in third person. I was born in Ghana, to Ghanaian and Liberian parents. Moved here when I was about 4. Moved to Minneapolis. Grew up in Brooklyn Center. Then, as an adult, came back to Minneapolis, where I am here. I mean, growing up, like, I've always been a creative. I started with illustration, and I took it seriously probably up until, I'd say, like, 10th grade in high school. That's when I got into doing things. Actually, at 11th grade, that's when I got into graphic design. And, I just sort of focused on that more than actual pen and paper. And that, sort of transcended into doing graphics for clothes. And, that got into, me taking it a bit more seriously, learning it. So from my mother, she is a seamstress. She is a ex-professor, teacher. She had her own school where she taught people how to sew back in Ghana. So, I mean, it was just natural for me to eventually learn from her, I guess.
To pick up on that craft.
Yeah, totally.
Which is, I think, really dope because I don't know if that happens enough. I feel like in modern days, like, and there's some families where like maybe like joining the military is kind of like tradition, or like being a police officer, certain things like that might be kind of traditional in a family. But I don't hear many times like trades getting passed down anymore.
Yeah, and it's funny because I wouldn't even say like it was passed down. I'll be honest. I don't think my mother expected me to take it as seriously as I do. I think she probably at first just thought like, it was just something I just wanted to try. And yeah, I mean, but, I am extremely grateful. And it does, situations like that doesn't usually happen. It's not often where the parent has something that the child, wants
also.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A shared dream.
So one thing I don't want to like skip over is you were born in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty tight. So you said you left Ghana at 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you remember? Like, I know 4 is pretty early to have a memory, but is there anything you remember about living in Ghana?
Yeah, so I have returned. So, I definitely have strong memory of Ghana now. It's an amazing place. It's my favorite place in the world, to be honest. It's beautiful. It's warm. It's tropical. It's right next to the ocean. It's a great experience, and to be able to say that I have that experience, to know a different perspective of life, and one that is still close to me, and close more so as like I don't let that out of my life. I don't forget about it, regardless of how far away it is. Like Ghana is still on my mind, but yeah, that's cool.
It's yeah, I think it's really cool. One, you pointed out the what stands out to me like the most, but it gives you like an expanded perspective being from somewhere. Like most of the people I know, obviously we're in the United States, so most people you're gonna know are gonna be from the United States. But that's one thing I think that stands out from anybody that I know was born outside of this country, that they actively talk about just having that expanded perspective. So you yourself, you're like the first generation in your family technically to come to the United States. So it's easy to assume you still have roots in Ghana too then, don't you? You still have family there?
Oh, yeah. So I mean here, it's more so of my Liberian side of the family here. And I'll be honest, it's definitely a stronger connection as far as like the family that I know on the Liberian side, because I was raised with my Liberian family. Yeah, like just to be able to, like if we aren't able to think of our lives outside of, what it is, then we can't truly just have a greater understanding when we're talking to other people or trying to, just come to a certain level when we are experiencing something new. It's a lot easier to take in new information and new understanding when you already know a difference, I guess so. You know what I mean? I probably put that in a terrible way.
I'm trying to understand it. But what stands out to me is like you aspire to seek understanding in other people. I feel like that's what I heard.
Yeah, essentially. It's all about understanding.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Where do you take your greatest inspiration from? In your clothing in particular, I guess.
So I mean, yeah, like inspiration comes from a lot of places. It's just more so understanding what's in front of you, what you're looking at, what you're hearing, what you're feeling. My clothes, I don't want to say 50-50 because it is more so situational. You can start from a concept or an idea or feeling, or you can even start from the fabric itself. But I try to maintain a line, I guess, follow just continuously build on the foundation that I built for the brand. And that makes it easy to come up with concepts. You just dive into whatever it is the foundation. So Meta-ism, my brand, the foundation is us. Meta, self-referential, and ism, a philosophy or belief, is just diving into the different aspects of what it is to be us from a psychological standpoint, and translating these concepts into garment design.
Yeah. I personally, I love your clothes. I remember the first time I came over here, I think with Matt, I was just kind of like peeping your stuff. I think I said this then, but I was like, if I could imagine how I would want my closet to be, like ideally, it's like it's what I see in your clothing. It's like I love the style, the exposed seams, the like it's like rough but clean and intentional, right? Walk me through some of those different like design elements that you're particular about in Meta-ism, I guess specifically.
Design elements that I am particular about. I guess it's just my own personal design language, my own preference is what you guys are seeing. I find certain things interesting. I find raw seams interesting. I find the certain fabrics that I use interesting. I'm actually making clothes for myself at the end of the day, and like this is truly my own personal style. So I think that's why it's so interesting and raw, because it is authentic. Like it's not coming from an outside source. It's just like I'm just really just flowing. Honestly.
Flowing, I love that. I vibe with that so heavy, because my favorite art that I've ever produced personally, or any content or any form of media or physical, like my favorite things are always that they come out of that like flow state of that the ideas are just coming to me. I'm building on like what was kind of built up to that point, and like the inspiration is just there, and it almost sometimes it's almost like out of nowhere. It's like I got like possessed by inspiration and creativity, and then these ideas just flow out, and when I'm in that flow state, they just like pop up perfectly, exactly how I intended them, and that's exciting as shit.
Yeah, man. And it's cool to be able to recognize that and then capitalize on it. We get inspired 1,000 times a day, but how many times do we act upon it, apply whatever that inspiration is to whatever it is that we want to do. Not too many people can do that consistently, and that's the difference.
Hold that just a tiny bit closer. But no, you're good. I feel that. So what for me, I feel like often it's the like social and societal barriers that would hinder me from like taking advantage of that flow state sometimes, where it's like I have this grandiose idea, but I can't afford to carry it out. How do you work through some of those barriers? Like when you have a crazy idea, are you the type to just like try and hold on to it, or do you try to carry it out to the best of your ability with what you got?
Yeah, just attack it. Like I mean, it's a lot easier to fake things these days. Whereas it's photography, graphic design, even garment design. Like people can easily fake things. If you want to make some clothes, right? People repurpose all the time. That's an easy way to be like, yeah, I'm, not coming at anyone repurposing, but you can get your idea out, and you won't know how to. I mean, you don't need to know how to truly construct that garment. But I mean, I think at this point, because I've been working for so long, that I've equipped myself with the abilities to create the things that I need to create, and that's just always been my mentality. Like I just teach myself whatever it is, and I attack it. So I don't really accept barriers. Like there isn't ever really an end point. You can go around pretty much anything if you really, really, really want to do it. So
I think it was like a year ago around like this time, so probably exactly a year ago. But we like went out with like Matt and Noah and Bryce, and we got food and we shot some photos that day, I think. I think maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I think I remember the shirt you were wearing that day. You were telling me that you had just made it that day.
Yeah.
And if it's not that specific time, I know you definitely do that too.
Yes. And I was going to wear a shirt that this hoodie I made in the pants.
Just be conscious of that.
Sorry.
It's easy to do. I forgot the mic stands. My fucking bad, man.
Yeah, but yeah, like that is totally a thing that I do often, for sure.
That's tight as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, why not if you're able to? I mean, a goal of mine was to have at least 75% of my closet be my own products, and I'm working towards that. It's still the same process that you guys are saying.
So we talked a little bit about like inspiration, right? But what motivates you?
Oh man, so much. So many things motivate me. And, it's outside things. It's not anything for myself. I'm not even doing that shit for myself, bro. Like, for one, my mother, of course, right? Because essentially she started all of this. Like the talent this woman has is amazing. If she went through that whole process in America, I'm sure she would have got a lot further. And she still has an opportunity. She doesn't want to, but I'll be that one for her. Family outside of media family, like, man, when we came here, me being the eldest, I saw my parents like just work for everything. Like literally, like I saw the process right in front of me. It's like, okay, 1 year we don't have this, and next year we do. You know what I mean? And it was just that, constantly. Like, my parents are so fucking inspirational to me. I am the product of them. They, the hard work, the determination. If you look at them, you'll see me. So, they are big inspiration. My friends, I feel as if like I gotta just do things for the people I care about. There's a lot of people who are close to my heart, and we all deserve the things we want. So, and I do it for Lucky. Rest in peace. He, really, he was one of the people who kickstarted this at the time when I got into it, when I was in high school. When I was doing graphics and then transitioned into doing graphics for clothes, he was the person who initiated that. So,
how did Lucky initiate that?
With a phone call. Like, he called me up, him and Charles. It was like, yo, we're coming up with this new brand. It's called Amari, named after Kanye West, his middle name, because that's when everyone was a Ye stan. And I was like, fuck it. Let's do this fucking brand, bro. And I just fucking cranked out graphics, and from there on, like, we just kept working, and we established a dream, and I'm gonna make that shit happen.
So, for those who don't know you and anything about Lucky, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Lucky and why, you feel like you're doing part of this for him?
Yeah, I get into a little bit. Lucky is my best friend. He passed away recently. Tragic loss. He had a great spirit, one of the best that you can find. And he connected a lot of people. So, for his memory, for the fact that I was my brother, for the fact that this is our dream, like, he forever will be a big inspiration to all of this.
Rest in peace, Lucky.
Rest in peace.
Just let that breathe a minute. So, take me back to Meta-ism then, because I know there is some you touched on it a little bit, but let's kind of dive into it. I guess there's some deeper ideas that you're trying to convey in this line, right?
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about, like, exploring the self. Talk to me a bit more about that idea, and how does it inspire Meta-ism, and how what design features speak to that in the clothing?
Yeah. So I'm in, like, the inspiration is within, essentially. I'm just truly analyzing what it is to be human. And I mean, that's broad, but then again, it is very broad, right? Because there's so many different aspects of our experience, right? Like, we experience things visually, we experience things in smell and taste. We also experience things in memory and touch, So, you can go on. It's literally just diving into the foundation of these things and interpreting what I find into garment design. So this hoodie that I'm wearing is my Metamorphosis hoodie, and this was inspired the concept of metamorphosis, the concept of change over time. We change and our environment change, and we've been going through a lot of change this year. So this is an accumulation of my thoughts of the metamorphosis, our metamorphosis. So it's just following that line. It's not really following that. You get it.
Yeah. So the reason I ask the question like that is, in a lot of ways, so like my medium of art isn't clothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious as to really get a better understanding as to how ideas can be portrayed in clothing. So I guess I'm curious. We could talk about this sweatshirt specifically and the idea of metamorphosis.
Oh.
Like, what about the sweatshirt?
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't really dive into that. Yes.
No, I don't know if I asked it clear enough, but it's all good.
So this hoodie I'm wearing, it has multiple layers, and each corresponding layer is more morphed than the last, right? So it's being deformed as it progresses, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So like the first layer, the layer that's actually touching my skin, is a normal size medium. The layer on top of it is a deformed large. As you see, it's angled. The fabric is angled. It's hanging off my sleeve, right? Each sleeves are deformed. This one is extremely long, but you can roll it up to reveal the normal sleeve underneath. This other sleeve is wider, so it went through that morphed process, that metamorphosis process, I should say. I guess that's how you can make the connection. It's biomimicry in a way.
So that's so fascinating to me, just that like the way you portrayed that idea in this piece is like how like a painter can like portray an idea on a canvas, right?
Totally.
And then it ultimately just comes down to the viewer's interpretation of the piece too.
Yeah. So essentially, right? And our job as designers and artists is to make. Some people, you're not forced to, but it's to make it easier for the viewer to understand that message that you're trying to get across through the art. I think with this hoodie, if it was, if we can show this more clear, I should say, you'd be able to see that actual metamorphosis process that's going on in this hoodie. But yeah,
I personally could see it once you started describing it. Just so you know.
Right.
Well, dope. So I'm curious but in your experience, what is like the solo grind been like? Because you're on like you're an entrepreneur, you're an artist, but that made me think of something else. Maybe we'll get into after. But as an artist, sometimes it's maybe challenging to make business of your art. How have you been able to manage that, and how do you I guess afford to keep producing bigger and better things? What's that solo grind look like for you?
Yeah, man, this shit is hard, but you just don't give up. I've been going at this for years. I've just been consistent, like you knock on doors, eventually someone's gonna open. It's just nonstop grind. And invest in yourself. Like, I'm happy and grateful that my industry means, or investing in myself, working in my industry means I get more fly clothes, right? And that's cool, so I don't need to spend money on clothes, right? But I put all or most of my money towards this business, like completely. Like it's not a guess if I'm going to spend money on what I need to spend money on. And, I may not be able to afford it, but eventually I will. If I need it, I need to get it, and I will get it. And it's just that type of mentality. Like, I mean, shit, people spend money on other shit, you know, and you can spend a little money here and there and don't think about it. But if you really want something, don't spend money on unnecessary shit. Just fucking buy what you need, and then you could just progress,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So,
Yeah, I've experienced it personally where I know, like, sometimes I'll splurge on, like, some equipment for, like, a podcast, or I'll buy a tripod I didn't necessarily need at the time, but I know if I have it, I can produce a little bit more, or at least a little bit closer to what I want to be producing,
yeah.
like, down the road, right? So it for me, it's functional, the things I'm spending money on for, like, the craft, and in turn, the more equipment I have, the more money I can make through the craft too. So it's like investing, reinvesting. But sometimes, like, I spend like $1,500 on this computer, and at the time of buying the computer, it was like, it's $1,500. I need the computer though, right?
Yeah.
Like, but $1,500, like, that might have been nice just to have that little cushion in my bank account.
I mean, yes and no. Yeah, you could have had that $1,500. I mean, I'm sure. Well, I won't say this. There's a good chance that $1,500 could have been spent on something else,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the fact that you did spend $1,500 on this laptop, we are now recording on. You know, you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting your money out of it. You know what I mean? I don't think that's money wasted at all.
No, me neither. So
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm hoping to just convince people to take that step and splurge on their craft.
Of course,
Right.
Totally, we need to.
Sometimes it might hurt to spend that little bit of money, but your desire to fulfill this need to produce for your purpose, essentially, like, it's either you spend the money and advance in that effort, or
You stay
or
stagnant.
you don't, and you stay stagnant. You're not moving forward.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Because I hear a lot of people, like, hinder their own personal progression in their craft based on that, just on that money aspect.
Yeah.
It's like, you're on a journey. You're not going to have everything you need right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think if you can and you don't, then you don't want it.
Mm.
And I mean, you know, some people may take that as like, or take it in a negative way, but if you can and you don't, then you must not want it. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Mm. Right.
You
Yeah, I think so too.
you know, like, life is so simple sometimes. Like, if you want something, go get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally that simple, man. I don't know.
I feel like that's simple for you and I. I don't think that's simple for
That's
everybody.
true. I mean, that's true, but you know, we have came to this realization through our own perspective. Does not negate that the fact that it remains a fact. You know what I mean? Other people can see it, and the fact that they don't see it doesn't negate that it's still a fact. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants something, just like someone who isn't pursuing their dreams may want to go and fucking, I don't know, go and jog or something. They do it. Okay, you wanted to do that and you did it. So what's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, you know, like, some people really need to. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is a lot easier because I truly want this, so it only makes sense for me to just go and.
And I think I feel like you probably know for yourself that adversity is a catalyst to your growth. So sometimes things are going to be tough, but as long as I keep pushing, I'm going to end up where I want to go. Yeah. Some people aren't capable of getting outside of their comfort zone.
True.
In facing a little bit of a challenge because they don't understand on the other side of that challenge is like a better version of themselves. Because they haven't had that experience yet to show them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think maybe that's part of where those blinders are from, like,
totally
choosing to want to stay comfortable and not like I said, jump out of your comfort zone.
Totally. Yeah, a lot of people just have not experienced that type of success, and it seems so foreign, you know, and that is unfortunate because a lot of things are really achievable, you know, once you make that mind switch of just believing, truly believing in it and believing in the process. You know.
When was it for you that you, like, have you always been comfortable in your craft and comfortable to you know, you're I guess, put yourself out, right? Because as an artist, when you create something and you want to present it, sometimes you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position, and that's sometimes the pressure people don't want to face that hinders them from growing, maybe. But so for you, have you always been comfortable in putting yourself out like that, or did it take time?
No, it totally took time. I mean, so when I was younger, young illustrator Denimani, I took my illustration seriously. I remember being put in some competitions, and I took that serious as fuck. I remember in my graphic design class, we had a competition who designed the best planner. I took that serious as hell, and when they didn't give it to me, I'm like, what? I was like, yo, all of that shit is trash, bro. I got the hardest. Like, I put my art on a pedestal because I believe in my art, but it took me a while to get comfortable with putting myself out there. But when I decided what I wanted to be, then at that point, what choice do you have? I'm not going to give up on this and try to become something else. So I might as well just go through it, 100%. So, it's part of the job, So yeah, it takes time, but if that's what it takes, then it's what it takes.
That's in large part what I think is important about like listening to a conversation like this is just getting that like reinforced, being told like it takes time, it's going to be challenging, it won't be easy, you might catch a break here and there, but it's going to take time, blah blah blah. It just like having that reinforced, I think, is important for people to hopefully push. Like, I want to enable people to carry out their purpose, right? Exactly. There's so many people that are just so comfortable just going with like this flow that has been just like engineered by the current like state and our system the way it is currently, and like they're just so comfortable being just like, I don't know, like zombies, right? Like,
not everyone needs to be an artist as well. Just play your role. If you truly want it, and you believe that you can do it, then you should go for it. But if you're happy doing whatever it is you're doing, then do that. I just think that if you want to call yourself something, then you just dedicate yourself to it. Whatever it is, you don't have to be comfortable. And you don't have to be the designer or the artist that puts himself out there all the time. You can be low key and do your thing. That's a thing as well. But you have to understand what that will bring for you as a designer or an artist. You may have a steeper hill that you have to climb or whatever it may be. But as long as you're consistent, then whatever.
Consistency, huh?
Yeah,
because if you like, that's like goes with like the growth mindset. Like you constantly growing a little bit every day. Like 5 years from now, you won't even really recognize your life now won't be recognizable to what it was 5 years ago, because you go so far over that time if you do just a little bit at a time.
The process,
right?
Man. People gotta trust the process.
So, tell me something that life has taught you.
Something that life has taught me.
I know it's deep. If you got to think for a second, no
pressure. You want to talk about
deep?
We can talk about deep. There's so many things we do. Man. Life has taught me, but it just comes and goes. I thought it'd take. I remember when I used to think about me at this point, right? Like me having my brand up and running, me having my own jeans, people recognize me for my crafts and understand who I am. And now I'm here, And it's like, it's so easy to sort of get lost in time. So you just have to, every day, just put it towards what you want. That's what life has taught me. Just, little by little, whatever it is you want, just go for it, because next thing you know, you will be there or not. If you don't do it, you may not. Or I mean, you know, there's chances and shit, but just try.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know. Like, I hate missed opportunities. Like, that's my pet peeve.
Me too.
I fucking cannot stand feeling like, oh, I could have done this, and because I didn't do something, I procrastinated, I lost my, like, that shit pisses me off, man.
That's actually given me me confidence through like failure recently.
Yeah.
Like I prefer the trial and error route than like not even trying.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I'm gonna do a bunch of shit. It might not work out the way I want it to. I'm absolutely gonna learn something from it and just keep it pushing, because if I don't try, I'm gonna, you know, I'll catch myself years down the road like, damn, what if I would have just like done that podcast, or what if I would have, you know, whatever, you know.
Literally.
I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of every door that's being, even if it just cracked open, it's not wide open for me. I at least want to like take a peek.
For it.
Like,
Totally.
is this? Do I feel comfortable beyond this door? No, that's okay. I can turn around and go back.
100%.
But I at least I tried.
100%,
Right.
man. Yeah, people don't try enough.
What would you tell 10-year-old Denimani if you could talk to yourself right now?
Shit, man, I tell his ass to stop fucking drawing and pick up a sewing machine. Like, seriously, man.
Oh, so how old were you exactly when you started sewing then? You were like 18, 19? That's me just guessing, honestly, because you said like sophomore, junior year you were illustrating.
I would say I bought my first sewing machine when I was like 19.
Oh.
Yeah, I bought it when I think I was like 19. But you know what's funny? I remember as a kid, my mother teaching me how to sew a pocket. You know, so like it was always there in front of me.
It was like It was just like waiting.
It was just waiting,
like,
you know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because during that same time, as a kid, I had a hustle, and it was tracing Dragon Ball Z characters and selling it for like a fucking quarter. Right, so that was like what I was thinking about. Right, I was like, "Oh, I'm about to draw and
that
do
instant
this shit."
gratification.
You know what I mean? But it's like, yo, like if you would pay more attention to what's going on over here, it might be more beneficial for you. So, you know, I tell 10-year-old Denimani to stop fucking drawing and pay attention to, you know, that sewing shit.
To the intuition. Right?
You get what I mean? Like, it's there, bro.
The universe is trying to show you something.
Dead ass,
Would you
man.
please pick it up?
That ass.
But at least you picked it up now.
Totally. Yeah, you know. Right? I mean, there's not really yeah, you could be late, but I had time, so.
Do you think it's like late, or do you think
I mean, for myself, no.
do you feel like everything happens like when it's supposed to happen?
Yeah. I believe in that for sure. I think I also believe in how am I going to word this? You know, there's chances and opportunity to change your trajectory, I guess, right? I mean, you can make decisions. I mean, we make decisions every day, and who's to say that we are making the decisions that were written in stone for us? I don't know, you know, but I do know that I believe in collective energy, and if you put energy towards one thing, you know, it'll definitely accumulate into something.
I like that. I was doing some writing yesterday. One of the lines that I wrote was like we say like time is money, and I was like, I don't mean like trade your time for money. It's like we say spend time for a reason, because it's like the potentially like the only real currency that we have just through our humanism, right? As a human, a raw human, we can still spend time if we were just like on an island somewhere. Yeah. So it was like the idea was like what you spend time on gets richer in your mind, right? So just being like, the point of this writing was saying just like be conscious of what you spend your time on, what you're paying attention to, right? It's because like I said, it gets richer in your mind.
Exactly,
right?
man. And I like that. It gets richer in the mind. I like that.
I'd say like spend time on things that are going to make you richer, so it's becoming rich in your mind. Just kidding. Don't spend all your time trying to make money. But what I was saying, if you spend time on things that'll make you richer, then you're just enriching your mind with richness. You know what I'm saying? Snap, snap, snap. You feel me? You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Where can people take a look at Meta-ism? Where can people find Denimani? Where do you want to point people to?
My Instagram is Denim. No. Yeah, you know, on the IG, Denimani, DENIMANI. Meta-ism, IG, META, period, ISM. And through there you can find the different channels, my website for the brand, meta-ism.com, meta-ism.com. And yeah, you know, if you just look up Denimani or Meta-ism, you'll be able to go down the rabbit hole.
Well, hold on, not so fast.
Oh, we got more?
Yeah, my girl gave me some great questions.
Oh, perfect.
I appreciate it a lot. Thank you, baby. Let's look. Let's see this one. This one is specifically in regards to fast fashion. I'll read it word for word.
Okay. That's it.
They essentially get ideas from high-end designers and make affordable items that aren't produced sustainably or ethically. Is it worth buying?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. Hold that mic closer, too. Sorry, I'm probably annoying.
No, that's cool.
All right. So, fast fashion. They essentially get ideas from high-end designers and make affordable items that aren't produced sustainably or ethically. Are those worth buying?
So I think what is like the word I'm thinking about, right? That word worth is the word we have to analyze when we think of that. I think there is a place for certain things. I don't think there is a place for, you know, unethical production of fashion, you know, on a global scale, because that produces a lot of waste, you know, and unnecessary clothes. A lot of shit gets thrown away. But I know that sometimes, I mean, shit, it's an industry, right, that pays people bills. People survive off of, you know, that industry. Some people can't afford top designer clothes, so they're happy with that. You know, not everyone needs to be dripped out in designer. I think the conversation needs to be leaned towards where we can find a middle ground where, you know, we are still, or people are still able to get easy clothes, you know, clothes that they don't really have to think about, that's more affordable, but is created more ethically, you know. So if we can find that middle ground, you know, I think fast fashion has a place.
It does have a place? Does, if we can
make it more ethical. Yeah.
So what fabrics do you personally lean towards? What do you like to work with most?
Yes, I love leather, I love denim, and I love wool. Those are my favorite fabrics.
I just thought of that wool hoodie that you had made.
Oh yeah, yes.
That shit is fire.
That is in
I love
Texas right now.
Is it? What's it doing in Texas?
My guy bought it.
Okay, bet. Yeah, I definitely encourage people to take a peek at your Instagram and the Meta-ism Instagram for sure. Like, because we can see your hoodie, but we can't see it too clearly.
Yeah.
Really, like, if you're listening to this, I definitely encourage you to really go get a look at Denimani's work, because I personally think it's dope, and I just enjoy it a lot. And you gotta see it to understand it. We can't just really like talk about it and the concepts and then not look at it.
It is art. Gotta view it.
So what, in your opinion, what like high end fashion pieces are worth buying?
What's high end, like specifically?
Yeah, like what items? I mean, and not just like worth buying, I guess, because some of that could be regarded as like investment, right?
Yeah.
What stands out to you as something high end that you personally would want to spend your money on?
I mean, I gotta have a connection with it, right? With either the designer or the brand. And there's, some brands or some designers, I should say, who has some pieces that I would not mind having in a closet. Rei Kawakubo, Jun Takahashi.
Wait, say it again.
Rei Kawakubo.
Okay.
Jun Takahashi, Margiela, Raf. There's a lot of really cool designers, and cool brands. Maurizio Amade. I think I'm into what I'm into, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love archival things. I love things with history. I love intelligent construction, so I gear towards things that fit that, right? But it also has to fit my aesthetic, right? Like I said, I love denim, leather, and wool, so it has to just fit my own preference, I guess. So it's not really one thing I can say.
I like that because, again, for me personally, not fully understanding like clothing and fashion and high-end clothing and I understand wanting like nice looking clothes, but tying that to like art and like an expression of ideas is something I guess I'm still grasping. So that for me, that like reinforces that idea of like clothing and some of it really being an expression
of ourselves, and that's how people should approach it. People shouldn't just wear things because of other people's influences. Like, truly be interested in whatever it is that you are consuming. Be genuine and authentic to yourself at the end of the day. And like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you like this brand for something that they do and is genuine, then go for it. Like, fuck it. It doesn't have to be fucking high-end fashion designer's brand. Like, just be authentic to yourself.
You know what I wear a lot of?
What's up?
Just black Hanes t-shirts.
Fuck it.
Because it fits my vibe.
Fuck it.
It's just simple. I don't have to think about it. It's
totally
comfy.
Understand, man.
It's got a nice like longer cut too, so it's like it's comfy. I don't know.
When you buy something, you want it to grow with you, right? And you want to be able to be like, oh, a year from now I can still put this on and I'll feel okay. Like, that's how people need to shop. So if you're comfortable with that fucking black Hanes tee, fucking Steve Jobs it and have like a whole closet full of it.
I have like 10 to 15 of them right now, so they just they rotate in and out. So I guess this is for people who haven't quite found their own personal style yet. Maybe like me. What advice would you give to that type of person to really understand like their style, the clothes that they're comfortable in? What like how like I think you understand the question.
Yeah.
I over ask sometimes. So let me just hear you.
Yeah, I mean, shop responsibly. Like, fucking, like, buy clothes that fit your body. Buy colors that, make you feel good. I don't think it's, really that hard to find a style. It might be hard to find money to find what you may think is a style that you want, but shit, fucking thrift it till you make it, I guess, or, construct it yourself or save money to buy that piece that you want, but just go towards something or whatever pieces that feel right to yourself.
Thrift stores really be hitting though.
Yeah, shit, man. I got this cool ass coat. I got a couple of cool jackets from thrift stores. They come in clutch. I won't say that I thrift heavy anymore because, I'm trying to make my closet my clothes. But it definitely has a purpose for sure.
Do you have any interest in producing like unisex clothing at all?
I mean, yeah. So like I was taught My mother taught me how to sew by making dresses. So there's always a woman's wear perspective when I design clothes. This hoodie can be worn by male or female. I'm about to finalize the woman denim tomorrow. So now I have both men and women denim, but whoever can wear it. I don't really want to think so much about gender. Like I will state it because the patterns, will be more or like male centric or female centric as far as the pattern goes. But if it fits, go for it. Like I have clothes in this first collection that can be worn by anyone. If you have the confidence for it, go for it.
Bet.
Yeah. Why you want some unisex clothes?
My girl was curious. Okay. Thought it was a good question.
His girl was curious, not him, guys.
I was curious too, because then I know, because I mean, she wears my clothes all the time, and she looks damn good in my clothes all the time too. So like, if I could maybe fill my closet with, or vice versa.
That'd be cool too.
That'd be cool too, right?
Hey, why not? Maybe on Tuesdays you wear this fit.
I like to wear a dress. Tuesdays are wear a dress to work day.
Hey, fuck it, yo, live your best life.
I wouldn't sell a damn thing.
You don't know that.
No, actually, I might sell more.
Bro.
I might sell more.
That exactly. If I saw you and you were confident in that dress, I'm gonna approach you and be like, hey. Continue what the fuck you doing, my guy, and sell me whatever.
I'm a Harry Styles, that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck it, bro. Like,
hell yeah.
Like we are literally blurring the lines.
That conversation's kind of funny. Of like that Harry Styles shoot, people are talking about like, oh, the West is destroying masculinity and all this and that.
Man, people love to complain.
They really do.
People love to complain.
The first time I saw those photos, I'm pretty sure I saved them and sent them to you. And I was like, or not to you, to all of them, my girl. I was pointing, so anyone listening, I wasn't talking about them. Whatever. But I saved those pictures, and I was like really fascinated by them. I was like, these are actually like, these are fire as shit. And then recently it's been like this conversation about that, and I just think it's kind of silly. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? We should be like, coming up with solutions, not creating new problems.
Totally, man. People love to be abrasive and go against the grain a lot of times. I don't know, man. If it's not directly influencing me, and I'm not saying like don't care about things, right? Because you can definitely care about a lot of things that just doesn't influence you. But like, for example, this man wearing a dress or whatever, I don't go fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that does not affect me in any way at all. I'm not going to use my energy to say something about that.
I'm not going to spend time on this.
Yeah, like, what's the point? That's not going to change anything. If he's confident in whatever it is he's wearing, cool. I think we all should go towards that. Just being confident in yourself and accepting how other people dress. Like, everyone does not need to dress the same. This world is colorful. We really need to appreciate that and amplify it. Like, differences is a beautiful thing. We get variety. Like, we need that in life. So
to me the world really is non-binary, right? There's like a spectrum to characteristics and individuals and appearances and just like interests, like to everything. Like, there's no two of the same person.
Yeah, totally, man. Hey, but with everything I just said, I'm not gonna put energy towards something, but if it's trash, I'm definitely gonna be thinking about it.
If it's trash,
yeah, nah, just
What's your hat say?
What's up?
What's your hat say?
My hat? Oh, my hat says "Get yourself together." This is some early shit, My last brand merchandise. This was his last collection. And, it's interesting. We didn't get into that, but, Meta-ism is basically a continuation of my last brand merchandise. Except
Which is where that M is from, right?
which is where the M is from.
I think that it gets it on
Yep,
the video.
yep.
So.
That was the old logo. The same concept applies. The whole "get yourself together" thing was a concept based off, or it was a project based off a psychological concept. The term "get yourself together," right? To see that every day is inspiring. So I use that as inspiration to create products. So for one was this hat, right? Simple, get yourself together, straightforward. Another piece was a shirt, but it was worn and you can see the threads in the seams. It looked as if like the shirt was being pulled apart. And that was a metaphor for it going through something but still being beautiful. It's like the uglier it got, and the purpose, I wanted people to really wear that shirt. I wear that shirt to this day. Like it's my everyday shirt. I like to make everyday shirts where it's like, or clothes where it's like you can consistently wear it and it can be worn and beat up, but it builds character. And with the wornness and the tatteredness, it finds its own beauty, So this "Get Yourself Together" shirt was meant for people to overwear it, and have it go through that process of it bettering itself. You know what I mean? So it's like just applying these metaphors to garments. And, I basically continued that whole idea into Meta-ism. But by changing the name from merchandise to Meta-ism, it focused on not just me as an individual, right? Merchandise, the product of the artist. Meta-ism focuses on the human race. So now it's more open to more inspiration instead of just me, So, yeah. That was the thing about this hat, I guess.
I remember the first time I came over, it stood out to me because you also had that mirror.
Yep.
When your sewing room was back there.
Yep, it's
I remember
over there.
I remember looking in that mirror and being like,
there's one right next to you, a larger one.
Yeah, this one right here. This is the mirror I was talking about.
Yeah.
Should I show?
I don't care.
I'm not gonna do all that. It's a mirror that says "Get yourself together." I remember it standing out to me though, because when I looked into it, it felt like exactly what I needed to hear at the time of me looking into it, right? And I feel like that would be the feeling every time I look into it.
Yes, continuous self-evaluation and positive mental health was the whole idea behind that. Continuous self-evaluation. When you are constantly thinking about whatever the fuck it is you're doing, where you are in life, your energy that you're putting out, just evaluating yourself as a whole, you start to make better choices for yourself. So I wanted people to think about that through garments or items like that mirror that says "Get yourself together" on it. So every time you look in a mirror, the words are right in front of your face. Like put it in front of people's face so they are going through these mental or doing these mental practices of continuous self-evaluation, which eventually will lead to true self-awareness. And I think once people reach that point, that's when they can truly live life to the fullest potential.
Yeah, I think it's like self-awareness to like self-actualization, where it's like awareness is like realizing your potential. I think I could be way off, but either way, it sounds good. Awareness is like realizing your potential and believing your potential, and actualization is like being at a point in time where you are fulfilling that potential that you had previously become aware of.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using that self-actualization. Totally, I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah,
good shit, bro.
Good shit.
Good combo. Anything you wanna like close with? Like anything that you feel like we missed that you want to talk about or that you want to give out?
I mean, not exactly. I just hope people can, if they take anything from this, is that, who you guys see right now, the person you're hearing, literally, started from nowhere, not necessarily was thinking about what I am doing today, But, eventually, after a lot of thinking, I decided upon it and I acted upon it. You may be at a place where you don't know exactly what you're doing, but, you can just look at the things that you sort of, are a magnet, attracted to, I should say. The things that come natural to you, dive into that, and you might find a purpose in it, and then just start the process. Whatever it is, just start that process and you'll get there.
Are you religious at all?
Yeah, I have an interesting relationship with religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious from your perspective, like, how do you stay in tune with that intuition? Because I think for a lot of people, it's easy to get distracted from it and put your own, like, your self-induced, like, walls up to keep you from fulfilling your purpose, kind of like we talked about before. But how do you stay in tune with that intuition yourself?
Man, I don't see anything else, to be honest. Like, day in and day out, these are my thoughts. Like, I mean, maybe I've brainwashed myself into being a workaholic, which could be true.
But it seems like good.
Yeah, it is.
I just feel like brainwash has a negative connotation, but
I mean,
ultimately that's probably what it is. Like
like I've truly convinced myself of who I am, the direction I want to go, what it is I want to do, and I'm committed. So once you're committed to anything, you don't really gotta think about it. You're just moving on automatic at that point. So I don't know, like, I guess some people may not have that truthfully, yeah, and that's real, but I mean, as long as you just truly just want something and you just chip at it, it may take years or whatever, but if you just keep going at it, and anyone can do this, like, anyone can just be consistent, to be honest, like, just be real with yourself. Like, we all procrastinate. I am a victim of that, truthfully, but acknowledge when you are procrastinating and acknowledge when you are slacking on yourself. Just be real with yourself. I think 1,000% of the people out there can do that. As long as you just be real with yourself. I don't know.
I like that. Be real with yourself. I completely agree. You're only making your life harder when you're lying about yourself and your reality, and
truthfully,
you're just giving yourself anxiety for no reason. If you're just like yourself and you take responsibility for what you got to take responsibility for, then you're just chilling and there's nothing to be anxious about.
Exactly.
Actually, there's plenty to be anxious about. Like, just getting in your car, like, should make you anxious because you have a high risk of dying riding in your car.
Right.
But
shit.
Relative to something. All right, this has been the We Are One podcast. I didn't know how to finish that sentence.
Is that how you finish that? I'm dead. You just stop the
close
sentence.
it out.
It's like, this is the week. I'm fucking dead. Y'all, we appreciate y'all if y'all made it this far.
For real. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Shout out Denimani. Appreciate you, brother. I look forward to commissioning you to create an entire wardrobe for me someday.
Yes, sir.
It'll be fun. I know that's going to be a big ticket, but hopefully I'll be able to afford it at that time, right?
Yes, sir. I'm sure you will.
I'm trying to invest in, like, the art that are produced by the people around me. And
totally.
Like make it a part of my life. Like, your clothing would be a perfect example of that, right?
I would love that, man. And I would say this, man. If you catch it early, it pays off. Like you said, people purchase clothes as an investment. Not saying everything has to be about money, but I mean, to say like, oh yeah, I have this 30-year-old piece. When he was just starting out. Like, there is a lot of value in something like that. So buy into your local community, support them, help them get to where they're going, and all of that will be reciprocated.
Gang, I like to end with that. Invest in you and invest in your people.
Invest in your people.
Peace out. Sorry, I didn't have a better way to close.